at you this Wednesday afternoon with Let's Talk Marriage. Hey, we're going to get right on into it. I hope everyone is doing well. If you woke up this morning, you are doing well. Again, welcome to Let's Talk Marriage. I am Pastor Larry, and our subject today is I have no notes or anything on this, so I'm just going to go from what I believe in. So, what I'm going to be talking about now is don't be afraid to take the plunge. Talk to brothers out there now. You have a good woman, you've been seeing each other for a number of years, and whenever the subject of marriage come up, you kind of avoid it, and you hear your boys talking about, oh man, you got the ball and chain, and you know you got a good woman, and you just hesitant, and you just thinking about it for years, and you're afraid to take the plunge, and you know what? It's not marriage is not hard as it seems. Especially if you know you have a good woman. Don't let her slip through your hands and somebody else come along and and they want to marry. Make sure you go and take the plunge and marry that woman. You know what? It's not as hard as it seems. We people make marriage hard. Marriage is not hard. You just have to, if you enjoying each other before you got married, let's just make it even better, where you're enjoying each other. And that's the key to make sure you're enjoying each other, supporting each other, loving on each other. And don't be afraid to, a lot of guys, they won't get married. They don't want to hear the subject. And ladies, stop hounding these guys. If they're not talking about it, if they're not talking about it after a year and you want to get married, maybe it's time you move on. But by all means, don't be giving nobody no ultimatums, because you don't want nobody to marry you because you gave them an ultimatum. Make sure that it's their decision, their ideal to marry you, and stop acting, desperate. Just marry anybody. Don't just marry anybody. Marry the person that's you compatible with, the person that, and being compatible don't mean that you're going to be just alike. They always say opposites attract. And a lot of times that's true. Opposites do attract. If you're in church, make sure that you try to marry someone that's in church. And if they're not in church, if they follow you to church, then you know what, you got a chance. I wouldn't tell you not to. Especially if you've known them a while, they might not go on a regular basis. But whenever you ask them, they always go, and they're very supportive of you. That's a person that you can take a chance that will be in church with you. And then don't be afraid to marry these women. Don't be afraid to walk down that aisle. If you don't want to do a big wedding, you're nervous about doing a big wedding, you're worried about the cost. Do a small one at first, or do a courthouse thing at first, and then set up something later. Where you have a nice reception and a short ceremony within that, and then just save your money or put money together and have a nice honeymoon. That's what you want to do. I wouldn't recommend spending a whole bunch of money on it. I mean, if you have it, that's fine. If you don't have it, don't worry about doing that. And don't let that be your decision for not getting married. Oh, I can't afford it, you'll be surprised what you can afford. we find ways to afford things that we really want. So make sure that's not a reason for you not wanting to get married. And if you find out that you're uh, always bumping heads, maybe that's not the person. Don't be bumping heads with somebody and always getting in an argument to then marry them and think that's going to change it, because that don't change it. Sometimes they get worse. I got people, so no, you don't want to go that route. And again, I always say to couples that contemplating on getting married, or you have the idea of getting married, or you're not sure that you want to do it right now, or you think you can't afford it, always seek counseling. go to your pastor, especially if you have a pastor that's been married a number of years. Those are the ones that you want to talk to because they can tell you, give you good advice. You don't want nobody that's been married 10 times and only been married 2 years. And you know, you go to someone that's been married a while. Even if you have a relative or a grandparent or something that's been married a long time, go to them and both of you sit down and talk with them and talk things out and find out, and then think sometimes when you talk with a third party, not a third party. Let me correct that. Neutral party. Sometimes when you talk with a neutral party, you could find out some things that you didn't were afraid to ask or didn't think you would get a straight answer. So make sure, again, don't be afraid to, especially if you get a decent, because it's hard to find decent women out here. And half the time you don't know what you're getting. What's your name, Willie? No. Make sure that you are compatible with each other. Make sure you get that counseling, sit down and talk with somebody, talk to your pastor or someone that you know that's been married a long time. They can really give you good advice. People, because they know they've been there, they've had the arguments, they had the disagreements, and they know what to tell you how to get around those disagreements. So make sure that you are doing this and when you're contemplating and getting marriage and find a way to bring the subject up. If you have someone that you've been seeing and you don't know how to bring the subject up, that you want to take the relationship to another level, or you want to get married and everything, make sure that you find a way to talk to them about it without someone getting upset and how come we can't leave it the way it is now? Yeah, you don't want to start that argument. It's just a whole different discussion right there. But find a way to relay the message to each other. And fellas, if you looking to ask or trying to find a way to ask your special lady how that you want to marry, or how you want to marry, ask them to marry you. It don't always have to be down on one knee. That's how they do in the movies. You don't have to do that. But I mean, if you, by all means, if you want to do that, that's fine. But find a way. It doesn't have to be nothing spectacular or anything. Just straightforward. You want to ask, and and again, you don't have to. Because some people say, "Oh, we don't have enough money to get married, and we can't afford it." You don't have to have a huge wedding. That's how many people you know that you're really close to. So you have all these people in the wedding, half of them you don't see no more after you after you walk down the aisle. So make sure that you plan something. If you're worried about financing, plan something small, and then go ahead and do it. And then later on, like for an anniversary or something, you might want to have a nice reception leading up to a honeymoon or a celebration for your marital vows. And again, make sure you talk to somebody that's been married for a while. They can give you good advice, on things. Because, a lot of things, when you're married, it's new. And I would never say it's a lot of work. It's new. It's something that you both have to work at. And one of the things you have to do is make sure that you are enjoying each other. When you're enjoying each other, that's what makes the marriage more pleasurable, a lot of fun. Because when you were seeing each other, you made sure you were respectful. You made sure you opened doors. You made sure you did things. You were very thoughtful, and make sure after you married, you carry that into the marriage of being thoughtful and helpful in the marriage. This is Pastor Larry. I'm going to be signing off once again with Let's Talk Marriage. Until we meet again, until we see you again, I'll see you when I see you. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. With Let's Talk Marriage. Tell a friend. Share it with a friend, share it with a neighbor. Let's talk marriage.